Edward Malone was sentenced to 78 years in prison after pleading guilty to molesting 4 boys back in the 70s. Now, Malone's wife, Susan, also faces charges. She is accused of having sex with one of the victims.
Just like her husband, Susan Malone pleads guilty, but unlike Ed Malone, it doesn't look like she'll spend any time behind bars.
Tom and Meredith, let me tell you, I spoke to Susan Malone just about an hour or so ago, and she is relieved after some stressful years. She walked out of this Aiken County courthouse here at about 4:30 this afternoon, a free woman. She's only going to be serving 1 year probation as the judge sends down after she pleads guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Now, the judge did say that she was sentenced to 3 years, but again, suspended to just 1 year's worth of probation, as well as 100 hours of public service, and she must write a letter to her victim apologizing. Now, I want to tell you, several people were in court today speaking up on Susan Malone's behalf, including her son, who described his mother as a very, very good mother and a great person. Also, her church pastor spoke up and said that Susan is a great person, has been involved in Vacation Bible School and several other things in the church, and that she is just no threat to the community. Now again, Susan Malone walked out of the Aiken County Courthouse today as a free woman. She pled guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Now, she also will be serving 1 year probation, but unlike, as we said, Ed Malone, her husband, she will not be serving any time in jail.
Breaking news, this Phoenix gym teacher is accused of sexually abusing a student. Thanks for choosing us this afternoon. I'm Katie Rammel.
And I'm Steve Irvin. ABC 15's Navita Fergani just got to the school near 7th Street in Buckeye.
And Navita, I understand the school just found out about this?
Yeah, this is an extremely raw situation for everyone here at Herrera Elementary. I understand and I've been told that school officials just met with Tempe PD to find out details into the allegations against the PE teacher right here at the school, and they immediately started telling parents. Let's take a listen.
Tempe Police Department tells us that it did not occur on our campus and it happened in 2005. We needed to inform all of the parents that she has been arrested.
So it didn't happen at the school.
Now, Tempe PD arrested this woman, Nicole Wooten. She is, like I said earlier, the PE teacher and a coach right here at Herrera Elementary. And according to court paperwork, the incident happened back in 2005 with a female student who was in 8th grade at the time. Police tell us that Wooten touched the student inappropriately on 3 separate occasions at her apartment. The court paperwork also reveals that Wooten admitted to these allegations once she was arrested and questioned by police. Right now, parents and teachers are being notified. They're all being sent home with this piece of paper. It's in English and in Spanish. All 600 students are getting this, and parents are definitely going to be having a serious conversation tonight with their students. Also, teachers are right now getting briefed. They don't even know about the situation, so right now they're all in a meeting inside the school, finding out about the allegations and what they need to do next for the students to help them cope with this loss and what's happened at the school. Coming up at 6, Steve and Katie, I'm going to share exactly what I've learned about Wooten's history with the district.
A Mobile woman is charged with rape after allegedly having sex with a 14-year-old boy. Jennifer Troll was booked into Mobile County Jail Thursday. She bonded out the same day. Local 15's Tammy Bray spoke with the mother of the child involved in the case. Tammy, a horrifying charge for any parent to hear.
Absolutely, Kim. The family contacted us because they say they don't want it to happen to any other children. And adding to the story, the woman's father is currently spending life in prison for similar crimes.
On Thursday, Jennifer Michelle Woods Truhl was booked into Mobile County Jail. The charge, second-degree rape.
I found out in January from Child Advocacy Center that she molested my son.
This woman didn't want to be identified, but says her 14-year-old son told child advocates everything.
They went to my son's school and asked him what happened and kind of took a statement from him. Then they let the parents know that we needed to come up there and meet.
She says Truhl didn't deny the allegations.
My son admitted it, and so did she.
Truhl is the daughter of this man, Ricky Woods. In December, he was sentenced to life in prison for incest. At the time, the family told us his daughter made up stories of abuse because he forced her to stop seeing an older man.
She retaliated by doing what she's doing today thinking that she could run off and be with this man.
Now, one of those daughters is the one being charged, and caught up in it all, a family who wants the abuse to end.
I don't want her to do any of that to anybody else. I'm sorry that she hurt mine, but I want, everybody to know her story and to beware so they don't leave their children alone with her.
Truhl is out on $20,000 bond tonight. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office tells us the case is now in the hands of a grand jury.
Every parent sends their child to school assuming that child is in safe hands. But a teacher in Bullock County is now charged with having sex with a middle schooler. In tonight's Crime and Safety Report, it's a crime that has shocked many in the community. News 3's Tukwin Mock was in Statesboro today, and Tukwin, that teacher is no longer with Bullock County Schools, right?
Well, that's right, Russ. Bullock County school officials tell me that this teacher resigned earlier this month after the investigation started. Now, the Bullock County Sheriff's Office says 35-year-old Amy Jackson had sexual relations with a 14-year-old boy. The charges against her include aggravated child molestation and statutory rape. School district officials say Jackson was an eighth grade language arts teacher at William James Middle School. The victim, apparently a former student of Jackson's, told investigators the two had sexual intercourse. Bullock County Superintendent Dr. Lewis Holloway says this is a dark cloud on the district right now, but says it's an isolated incident.
Teachers are held to a higher standard than citizens off the street, and I think anyone knows this behavior is just not accepted in society, and we need to work hard to see that it's eradicated from society. I think, too, that we're seeing more incidents of that, not only here but across America, with the social networking sites and cell phones.
Now, officials are not releasing the victim's name because of his age. The sheriff's office says the investigation has been turned over to the district attorney's office. Jackson is currently being held at the Bullock County Jail without bond.
I think that's horrible. 32 and somebody's child.
Trevon Evans brings her two sons to Lake Bonnie Park often, and she can't believe what allegedly happened here Sunday. According to Lakeland police, 32-year-old Destiny Witt had sex with a 14-year-old boy in the men's bathroom.
Hurt for the child, being sorry for the child, and the innocence, just pure innocence being taken away from them. He didn't have a chance, because he's 14 and she's a grown woman.
Authorities say the investigation started after the teen's parents contacted police.
We were notified by the parents of the victim who noticed some unusual behavior in the victim, investigated it, and the incident came to light.
According to investigators, Witt and the teen had known each other for about a week.
The victim was introduced to the suspect in a social situation, and from there they began communicating.
In the arrest report, witnesses state that Witt wore provocative clothes and describe her hugging the teen in a passionate manner. In another statement, a witness saw Witt kiss the teen on the lips. The report states that the teen did admit to having sex with Witt and had feelings for her. The mother of three was arrested Wednesday. Police say Witt admitted to the incident in the park.
Also new tonight, a local woman arrested on child pornography charges, and how it was happening is what makes this story even more disturbing.
Yeah, that's right. The FBI confirms not only is she accused of sexually abusing the children, but also recording it and then sending it out on the web. Amaka Ubaka is live in Oviedo tonight. So, Amaka, where was all this happening?
Well, Guard, it's not very far from here. It's just down this street in her home. Neighbors tell me 28-year-old Sarah Adletta was raised in that home her whole life. They say she was homeschooled, very religious, and a sweet but naive woman who they still can't believe was arrested for child pornography.
I'm just in speechless shock right now that my neighbor does that.
Neighbors stunned by the news. The 28-year-old Sarah Adletta, seen here, was arrested by the FBI on child pornography charges. Agents made the arrest at this home in Oviedo after learning Adletta allegedly sent images of herself sexually abusing children to a man in North Carolina. That man was later arrested for having sex with a child.
It's a kid, and you know that that's not right. I think it's disgusting.
The FBI confirmed that Adletta used Skype, email, and her cell phone to send images of the sex acts. Adletta, a UCF student, reportedly admitted to agents she started producing child porn a year ago. Cheney Mills, a neighbor, says Adletta would volunteer to babysit her kids, but Mills felt something just wasn't right.
And I feel so good that I went with my gut and never let her watch my kids.
Now, Guard, I spoke briefly with Sarah Adleta's father tonight, and it's clear that he's still in shock. He says he has no further comment to make over his daughter's arrest.
Her name is Elena Williams Ward. She's 23 and teaches at Bell Street Middle School in Clinton. She's accused of having a sexual relationship with 5 boys, ages 14 and 15. Investigators say some of the encounters happened at the school, at the Clinton Hotel, in a city park, and behind this restaurant.
It's very disturbing that this kind of thing is going on. It's very shocking, but we have to look for answers right now, and that's the best thing we can do.
The question started with a note from Ward to a male student.
This note was provided by several students who felt that the contents did not seem appropriate.
More students were questioned and the police became involved. In all, warrants show Ward faces 5 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor and 6 counts of lewd acts on a minor. Police say all this happened between December and as recently as 2 weeks ago.
At this time, I will entertain a motion.
The school district suspended Ward last week on the day the note was turned in. Wednesday night, the school board fired her after an emergency session.
It's overwhelming for all of us. It's just so sad. So many regrets that we have for our community.
Elena Ward is now in jail awaiting a bond hearing.
25-year-old woman accused of harboring a runaway 13-year-old boy and lying to authorities about his whereabouts has been arrested for the second time in 3 days. Jenna Van Delden is now facing 5 additional felonies and is accused of sleeping in the same bed with the teenage boy and having an intimate relationship with him. After bonding out of jail on the charges of endangering the welfare of a child and custodial interference on Tuesday, Jenna Van Delden now faces a felony count of tampering with evidence and 4 felony counts of sexual intercourse without consent. According to court documents, after posting a $5,000 bond, Van Delden went to the Cascade County Juvenile Detention Facility and attempted to make contact with the 13-year-old she had been allegedly hiding in her home for about 4 months. Charging documents state that when detention officers would not let her see the young boy, she expressed love for him and asked to collect her wedding ring set and a heart-shaped ring the juvenile had in his property. She allegedly left the JDC with the rings. When authorities executed a search warrant of Van Delden's residence on Wednesday, court documents state that the 25-year-old woman admitted to detectives that she was sleeping in the same bed as the runaway teen, and the juvenile boy admitted to having sexual intercourse with the adult woman between 20 to 30 times in the past 4 months.
It's time now for another edition of the Valley's Most Wanted. Here's NBC2's John Swanner.
The Washington Police Department in Daviess County wants your help in finding a pair of subjects who have been wanted on felony charges. The first is 35-year-old Amy Renee Clark of Washington. She's wanted for failing to appear on a criminal trespass charge, and a judge also issued a warrant for her arrest on child molesting charges. She's avoided arrest on that charge since July of this year. A pair of people wanted by police and featured on NBC2's Valley's Most Wanted has been apprehended. Washington police arrested 35-year-old Amy Renee Clark, also known as Amy Renee Spalding. Detectives had a warrant for her arrest on child molestation and criminal trespassing charges. She's held in the Daviess County Jail on $102,000 bond.
Indiana woman arrested on charges of child molesting. Washington City police arrested 35-year-old Amy Spalding on a charge of child molesting. Police say the charges stem from an incident last spring involving a 13-year-old girl. Officers say they began the investigation in June after a family member of the young girl filed a complaint. Spalding is being held in the Daviess County Jail on $100,000.
Today, she joins us now live from the Mesa County Justice Center with more. Mara?
Lindsay, the sentencing just finished up hours ago, and it was pretty emotional. I got to tell you, the victim was in there, and he appeared in court, and he was facing his sexual predators. 39-year-old Cassandra Lyle was the first to appear. She was found guilty of 2 counts of aggravated incest and sentenced to 48 years to life in prison. While in court, Lyle's victim read a letter to her, and she was seen crying and asking for forgiveness.
Her husband, 49-year-old Ricky Lyle, was also sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 24 years to life in prison. He had pled guilty to 2 felony counts of sexual assault against a child by a person in a position of trust. Prosecutor Mark Hand says he believes that the Lyles got what they deserved.
I think that the court recognized the severity of this case and entered a sentence that was correct after considering how severe and aggravated the nature of the crime was.
The judge explained to both Cassandra and Ricky that they may be able to get out of prison after 48 years. But it's up to the Department of Corrections whether or not they're deemed dangerous to society, and both suspects claim that they were on methamphetamine at the time of the sexual assault.
A Central Florida science teacher was arrested Wednesday and is in jail, accused of having sex with a student. WESH has a list of charges against 32-year-old Irene Kahn.
Kahn is charged with enticing the victim into sexual activity, sexual battery while in authority, and lewd and lascivious battery.
Reports say it happened in multiple locations. Here's WOFL.
The 14-year-old victim told police his science teacher, 32-year-old Irene Kahn, had sex with him in her car, her apartment, at 3 beachside hotels.
The alleged victim is talking, but the accused isn't. WKMG explains.
She is not talking to us. She denied our request for a jailhouse interview, and police say she wasn't talking to them either. In fact, when they met up with her early on in their investigation a few months ago, she got up and left and refused to talk to detectives.
But police say they rounded up the evidence they needed to arrest Kahn, including some help from the boy's mother. WFTV reports.
Police spokesman said the relationship went on for around 10 months, and it was ultimately text messages on a cell phone that landed this teacher here in jail.
According to the Orlando Sentinel, Kahn taught at Imagine School in West Melbourne until January.
Investigators say that the former Tennessee Titans cheerleader tried to seduce a 12-year-old boy. This was Elizabeth Lee Garner 4 years ago. At the time, a proud member of the Tennessee Titans cheerleading squad. And this is Garner today, her booking photo.
The female went so far as to sexually assault the 12-year-old, all in an attempt to solicit him for sex. This is quite an unusual case.
Investigators say Garner was visiting at the family home when she went after the child. The police report reads he got up to go to the bathroom and Miss Garner followed him into the bathroom. He stated that she asked him if he had ever been with a woman. At this point, investigators say Garner fondled the child, tried to undress him, and then offered to perform a sexual act. The frightened 12-year-old ran to his mother, who then called police. They questioned the former cheerleader, and charges followed. A grand jury indicted Garner, and she was booked here into the Rutherford County Jail on charges of aggravated sexual battery and solicitation of a child.
A Newark school teacher is arrested and charged with sexually assaulting a student. 27-year-old Elise Cromwell is from Jersey City. Prosecutors say she had sex with a 14-year-old boy while she was his homeroom and English teacher. Cromwell made a court appearance today via video link from the Hudson County Jail. The judge set her bail at $300,000 and ordered her to have no contact with anyone under age 18. Cromwell teaches at the Early College High School in Newark.
A Maryland mother faces serious charges tonight for allegedly raping a friend of her son. 35-year-old Catherine Carmine was arrested by Delaware State Police for allegedly raping a 14-year-old boy. The young man told a family member he had a sexual relationship with Carmine for 10 months at her former home in Laurel, Delaware. She recently moved to Maryland. The victim met her because he was friends with her son.
Camp director of a sexual abuse of a 10-year-old boy. Melissa Stevens will be sentenced tomorrow for rape, sodomy, and 2 counts of sex abuse, all which happened about 5 to 6 years ago. Stevens founded the Willow Cottage Arts and Academics program. She's also worked as the administrative director of the Willow Brook Summer Arts program at Browns Ferry Park in Tualatin.
A woman in Lockport is accused of having sex with a 14-year-old boy. 30-year-old Deborah Wise is charged with rape and child endangerment. Police say she and the teen were having sex outdoors near the canal on Friday night while his friend watched. Officers say they caught Wise and the teen in the woods.
A Farmington woman has been sentenced to 4 years in prison for raping a disabled 13-year-old boy. 35-year-old Mandy Thibodeau was arrested nearly a year ago. She pleaded guilty to gross sexual assault in June. Authorities say the boy was the son of a longtime friend of Thibodeau's.